This credit card sales document is located at our e-learning site. I put it together to show the three different types of credit cards that merchants are accepting. So we have bank-sponsored cards, such as MasterCard or Visa, non-bank cards, like American Express, and merchant-sponsored cards, and there are lots of those. So the first three paragraphs give you some background about each of those types of cards. What I'd like to do is jump right into my examples that follow. So in the first example, we've got a $1,500 total amount of sales, and these are Visa and MasterCard charges. So these are credit cards that are sponsored by a bank. And the day that the merchant makes the sales, in this case $1,500, the merchant immediately receives money for those sales from the bank the same day. They don't have to wait 30 days for customers to pay them. Now, if they get the money immediately from the bank, that means that the bank is taking over all of the collection efforts for getting the money from the customers. So in exchange for this service, the company is foregoing $45, or in this case I said 3%, as a bank credit card fee. So the merchant pays the bank $45, and for that money the bank will assume all the collection efforts from the customers, and if there are any non-paying customers, the bank is going to be absorbing those losses. So even though from the merchant's point of view they're losing 3% on every sale, that could be the best 3% they ever spent, because now the merchant will not have to have a collection department at all. They can just turn that all over to the bank. And any non-paying customers, our merchant doesn't have to worry about that, because we've already received the cash up front. All those headaches are now turned over to the bank. In the next type of credit card, we're looking at an American Express or Discover or any other type of non-bank credit card. In this case, when the merchant makes a sale, again, we're not waiting for payment from the customer. In this case, we turn all of our credit card slips over to the American Express company. We, however, do not get paid from American Express immediately. There's a little bit of a time lag while we're waiting for American Express to reimburse us. American Express will also, like a bank, withhold a fee, because American Express will now have to collect from the customers and absorb any bad debt losses. The fee to American Express is typically higher than the fee that the merchant pays on Visa or MasterCard. And that's because when American Express first got started, they really did not allow customers to carry balances from one month to the next. They expected their customers to pay their balances in full at the end of every month. That meant that American Express, their only source of revenue was what they were charging the merchant. Back up here to these bank cards. Well, the bank is also getting money from the merchant, but is this the only source of revenue for the bank here? No, because with so many people today carrying balances on their Visa and MasterCard month after month after month, the bank is collecting interest from those slow-paying customers. So the bank has two sources of revenue, the amount they get from the merchant and also the interest that they're charging to slow-paying customers. And again, historically, American Express was only getting money from the merchant. They did not allow slow-paying customers, and that's why their fee has traditionally been higher. The other form of credit card is a company-sponsored credit card. So this could be a credit card sponsored by Penny's or Kohl's or lots and lots of places where you shop. Now in this case, when the merchant records the sale, the merchant is going to be trying to collect from the customers. So we have an accounts receivable due directly from our customers. Notice that in this transaction there's no fee being paid to a bank or to American Express. There's no fee at all, but the company has the responsibility of trying to collect from the customers and absorbing any bad debt losses. And finally, I tried to summarize here at the bottom, why do merchants so readily accept MasterCard and Visa? And you can read through these points here. But just to reemphasize, the merchant does get the money immediately. They don't have to wait for customers to pay. And if we have any non-paying customers, it's going to be the bank, that is trying to collect and maybe eventually suffering bad debt losses. We turn all of that over to the bank. Now, why would banks do this? Why do banks issue and sponsor these credit cards? Two things, as we mentioned before. They get a fee that they're charging to the merchant for every sale, and they also charge extremely high interest rates to late-paying customers. Why do banks do this? Are they just raking in money then? Well, they have to charge a high interest rate to late-paying customers in order to cover non-paying customers in which the bank takes a loss. The bank can both win and lose with credit cards. I know that they must be making money overall, otherwise they wouldn't still be doing it. But the reason why interest rates are so high is because there are so many people that bail out and do not make payments on their balances that they're carrying, and if the bank has to eventually write them off, then it's those customers that are paying monthly that have to be charged those high rates to cover the non-paying customers.